You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Thanks for being with us this Wednesday. I'm Ann Makovic, and here's a look at some of our news headlines this morning. Breaking news. We have just learned that Oakland's police chief is stepping down. The city of Oakland says Chief Floyd Mitchell has turned in his resignation, and his last date will be December 5th. Chief Mitchell took over this role back in March last year after being appointed by former Mayor Sheng Tao. He is stepping down after less than 2 years on the job. He did not give a reason. The city says the search is on for an interim chief. More breaking news: an arrest has been made in connection with the deadly Palisades fire down in Los Angeles. Here's our first look at the suspect. The Justice Department says 29-year-old Jonathan Rindernecti from Florida maliciously ignited the fire on New Year's Day. That Palisades fire killed a dozen people and destroyed thousands of buildings. The feds say they collected evidence from the suspect's digital devices, including an image he had generated on ChatGPT depicting a burning city. Officials did not state an alleged motive. We are seeing our first signs of Fleet Week in San Francisco. Despite the government shutdown, our chopper flew over the 250-foot Colombian Navy ship Ark Gloria this morning. There she is, making her way under the Golden Gate Bridge. But Fleet Week organizers have confirmed that U.S. Navy ships, sailors, and Marines will not be participating this weekend. Organizers say they still have more activities planned despite the government shutdown. All right, let's get a check on our first alert forecast. Middle of the week, things are cooling down a bit. Meteorologist Jessica Birch tracking our next chances of some rain.
All right, let's take a quick look outside as we head into this afternoon. Daytime highs are nice and mild compared to where we were at yesterday, talking about 90s off in the East Bay and upper 70s all the way down into places like Monterey and Santa Cruz. This is a lot more mild. 60s and 70s down there this afternoon. We're talking about 70s over in Antioch. Let's zoom all the way into the East Bay. We're talking about 60s and 70s from the East Bay stretched up into wine country region this afternoon. Looking pretty nice. And as we zoom out and look a little bit higher, I'll show you the next 24 hours. We have a chance of drizzle in the forecast pushing in from offshore in places like Half Moon Bay, all the way over into San Francisco for that matter. This won't accumulate to much, if anything, closer to around 1/100 of an inch of rain. But that exact same system is the reason why we're also dealing with daytime highs just a little bit cooler too. It's a great relief. This is actually where we should be for this time of year, or at least closer, I should say, in places like San Francisco and Oakland, just a degree below average. Today, you head all the way up into the North Bay. Santa Rosa today, 9 degrees below average, which is such a contrast compared to last week. Or not last week, just yesterday when we were talking about daytime highs about 9 degrees above average. So such a difference already as the system continues to push its way in. It'll bring in cloudier skies, a chance of drizzle in the forecast for us today and tomorrow. Here we go with that timeline. Thursday morning, just getting that light coastal drizzle starting to dissipate as it makes its way inland, and then we'll clear up as we head into this weekend's forecast. In total, from now until then, we can see about 1/100 of an inch of rain. And you take a look at the next 7 days, just real quick, we're talking about 70s each day in our inland spots with partly cloudy skies until Saturday heading into Sunday. We'll hold on tight to 60s along the coast. Keep you updated on that here in the Weather Center.
Well, San Francisco's Fleet Week is shaping up despite a government shutdown. And today we saw one of our first big arrivals, the Ark Gloria, sailing into San Francisco this morning. The Colombian Navy tall ship passed under the Golden Gate Bridge at around 9 a.m. Sailors on the flagship manning the rails and climbing the rigging as part of a salute to San Francisco. And they're not the Blue Angels, but the Canadian Snowbirds are scheduled to fly into town. These 9 turbojets fly in tight formation, sometimes less than 6 feet apart from each other. Organizers confirming that U.S. Navy ships, sailors, and Marines will not be sailing into the bay this weekend. And while they won't be on the water, plans for the Blue Angels are officially still up in the air. Organizers confirmed the squadron has not yet officially canceled their plans, but it's not looking like they're going to fly. Despite that, the CEO of Fleet Week Association tells us there's still a lot to look forward to. He spoke with our Reed Cowan and Gianna Franco on our morning edition.
Well, I think what we should do is face what we have, and we have a first class. Any other city would look at the air show that we have put together as a first class air show. We happen to be spoiled because we get the Blue Angels every year, right. And so it's probably, it's not likely, but we're holding out the hope that the Blue Angels will show. They have not officially canceled. I can tell you that the Navy, the Blue Angels, all of the military that come into Fleet Week, they are as sad as we are.
Right.
I mean, if you think about it, you have these men and women who are out on ships, and this is a big liberty for them. And so this liberty is not going to happen this time, unfortunately.
And CBS News Bay Area is your official home for Fleet Week coverage, come what may. We're going to have continuing coverage through the week on air on our website, kpix.com, and streaming on the free CBS News app. As we deal with those Fleet Week impacts because of the government shutdown, lawmakers still in a stalemate over ending it as we stretch into day 8. Republicans and Democrats remain at an impasse over how to end it. Meantime, a new White House memo suggests that furloughed workers may not receive back pay. The president himself signed a law after the last shutdown in 2019, guaranteeing retroactive pay for workers affected by a lapse in funding.
Ultimately, the costs will be higher if there are these mass firings or if pay is denied, because people have rights. They will sue for damages.
This shutdown is nothing more than political cover for Chuck Schumer and the Democrats.
If the standoff stretches past this week, more than 1 million active duty troops will not receive their October 15th paychecks, despite having to report for duty. We are going to continue to follow the government shutdown and all its impacts across the nation and here in the Bay Area. You can find updates anytime at kpix.com and streaming on the free CBS News app. Former FBI Director James Comey has pleaded not guilty. He is accused of lying to Congress about whether he authorized an FBI media leak. He appeared in federal court in Virginia today, facing charges brought by the Justice Department that he once served. He pleaded not guilty to 1 count of obstruction of a congressional proceeding and 1 count of making false statements related to 5-year-old Senate testimony during which he denied authorizing leaks to the media. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson says the charges could be tough for the government to prove.
The prosecution has to show here that James Comey didn't make a mistake, that he didn't have a memory issue, that he didn't intend to say one thing but accidentally said another thing. The bar for perjury is high as it should be.
Leading the case against Comey, President Trump's former personal attorney, Lindsay Halligan. She was appointed as the interim U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia after her predecessor resigned, facing pressure to prosecute political rivals. Still ahead here on CBS News Bay Area, it is a place for homeless people to find refuge, but there are some tough new rules. We're going to take you inside a Bay Area city's first drug-free shelter.
Now I look at the streets as motivation. I say, hey, look, this is something I'm not going to go back to.
Plus, a progress report on the city of Oakland from the mayor herself.
I think anywhere you go, there's challenges.
It could all get better if we wanted to get better.
We are asking residents if things are going in the right direction.
Well, we had some hot weather to kick off the week's forecast, but now we're starting to cool down quick as we head into this weekend. Daytime highs holding on tight to 70s today, tomorrow lasting into this weekend's forecast with partly cloudy skies and some light showers actually sweeping in from offshore as we head into Thursday and Friday. That'll clear up fast as we head into this weekend, which is great news for Fleet Week right around the corner. Now you make your way over into the Bay, closer to San Francisco and Oakland. This is what it's going to look like for us. We're dealing with daytime highs today in the 70s still. We'll cool down to the 60s around the corner, back to 70s by this weekend.
Well, San Francisco has been getting tougher on drug use on its streets, and now it is trying to take a similar approach at some of its shelters. Today, we're getting an inside look at a new homeless shelter in the Soma neighborhood. It's called Hope House. And what sets it apart from other places is that there is a zero-tolerance policy for drugs or alcohol. That shelter is located along the 6th Street corridor by Tehama. Kenny Choi introduces us to one man who lives there who hopes that this is the first step in his recovery journey.
It's been a long journey struggling with addiction for Gary Noakes.
Because it keeps me safe from myself, because I was the biggest threat to myself. I couldn't control my choices.
The 43-year-old is trying to live a different life, finding shelter at Hope House, San Francisco's first sober homeless shelter.
I was living in a couple other shelters out here that were they were pretty tough going. A lot of drug users in there.
He's one of 15 new residents referred by city outreach workers. Salvation Army Executive Director Steve Adami says the 58-bed shelter on 6th Street has a no-tolerance drug and alcohol policy, but that there are protocols in place to help residents if they relapse.
Mistakes are going to happen, but the goal is to catch the mistake before it starts to escalate so that people can use it as an opportunity to learn.
The site will provide residents shelter for 30 days and up to a year as a first step towards recovery through abstinence rather than a harm reduction, housing-first approach used at many other shelters.
It is really a change that's happening right now that's taking place where we're really promoting drug-free environments, we're really promoting recovery, and I think the culture change is going to be the biggest shift.
The city has contracted the Salvation Army to run Hope House as well as other Next Step sober transitional housing programs. Noakes says he's been more than a year free of hardcore drugs, including fentanyl and methamphetamines, but that this is just the beginning.
Now I look at the streets as motivation. I say, hey, look, this is something I'm not going to go back to.
It's a sign of hope and a new way of life for Gary.
Hope House is the first step in the Salvation Army's recovery sober care system. A sober transitional house that Kenny first reported on this summer is now open in the marina. Police in San Jose have arrested 3 people in connection with an alleged sex trafficking operation at a hotel. Police said that they had been conducting a months-long investigation at the Caravel Inn that is near the San Jose airport right off 880 on North 1st Street and East Rosemary. The alleged ring involved hotel staff and several people who were housed at the inn on a long-term basis. Authorities said they found 6 survivors while serving the search warrant. Police also found $30,000 in cash during their search. Officials say the arrests are part of a wider crackdown on human trafficking ahead of Super Bowl 60 in the area.
With these events on the horizon, the months approaching, we will continue making sure that we utilize these proactive enforcement approaches, such as undercover operations, to target these illegal sex trafficking operations and hold these traffickers responsible and make sure that we have no more victims or these survivors exploited ever again.
2 men and 1 woman were arrested. Officials say the 2 men were employees at the hotel. We are checking in on the challenges facing the city of Oakland after Mayor Barbara Lee's first few months in office. The mayor gave her first State of the City address yesterday, touting the successes the city has seen so far in her tenure while noting the challenges ahead.
I'd like to think that when it comes to our city, Oakland is on the move and we are moving forward. Together, we made tough but necessary choices to protect Oakland's long-term stability. And we'll face more tough choices in the near future.
Mayor Lee was especially proud to report on a reduction of crime in the city. She said homicides, robberies, and other crimes are seeing 20 to 40% drops when compared to previous years. Well, John Ramos spoke with Oaklanders about how they feel the mayor has done so far and whether they share her sense of optimism for the future.
Oakland doesn't have a huge population, but it's always suffered from the same problems as cities 10 times its size. The people living here seem to understand that, and they tend to cut the city a break when discussing its shortcomings. Oakland's diversity is on full display in the Grand Lake area. That's where Rich Manley was enjoying a quiet cup of coffee, and he wasted no time relating the state of the city to the national situation.
Putting it in perspective of the greater political environment in our country right now, I'd say I'm happy to live in California and in Oakland.
But that doesn't mean that Oaklanders are blind to the realities of the city's problems.
You know, downtown is still has a feeling of danger. 4 years ago, it was almost every day we were seeing burglaries, smash and grabs, but it's a lot less now. So thankfully, I feel like that's gotten better.
Do you think the average person walking around here is feeling pretty positive about the city?
I think so. Just the fact that they're walking around, you know what I mean? I'm serious.
Maxine Williams is keeping her sense of humor and has decided the best way to deal with Oakland's crime issues is to adapt to them.
I've seen less of that. You know, the break-ins and the bipping, things like that, the stealing of the catalytic converters. Mine got stolen. That's why I don't have a car now. I decided not to have a car because of that kind of thing.
Sean Andrews is also realistic about Oakland's problems, but he thinks the responsibility lies with, well, everyone.
I think every city is having problems at this present time under the leadership of from the top, all the way from the top. But, you know, it could all get better if we wanted to get better. And we just have to all try together to make it better.
But at the Mega Deluxe store, the custom hats and T-shirts cast a positive light. Store owner Wes Garcia says it's a tribute to Oakland's spirit of resilience.
There's such a pride for Oakland from the residents or the people that live around here. So you feel that energy from them, that positive energy, so you sort of try to reflect that as well in your business. And
Ronnie Fike works at the store and says Oakland's diversity can be its biggest strength and its biggest challenge.
I think it has small wins and losses from time to time. Just so many people live here, so many people are involved with politics, so many people have different opinions about things that it sort of just, sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't.
But just a few miles away in Chinatown. What do you think the state of Chinatown doing? Is it better? Is it doing better now?
No, it's not doing well. There are always people walking and it's so vibrant, but it's pretty empty nowadays.
Carl Chan has been a familiar face in Chinatown, speaking out on issues of public safety and holding elected officials, especially the mayor, accountable. And he still has questions about Barbara Lee's approach to the office.
You have to be able to work people that are capable and knowing how to run the city. I think that's very, very important.
Have you not seen that yet?
I'm not saying that yet, because all the people that she wants to be working with is all the people that is really so-called loyal to her only. But we need more than that.
But it was Sean Andrews who delivered the final State of the City message from the people, with a uniquely Oakland style of optimism.
And it's going to get better. The same thing that we go through today, we don't have to go through tomorrow. Thank God for that.
Well, a new poll from joint venture Silicon Valley and the Bay Area News Group found that 47% of people living in the Bay Area feel that our region is on the right track. That number was less than 30% just 2 years ago. Still ahead here on CBS News Bay Area, a record number of new restaurants opening in San Jose. And the secret to success is much more than just the food.
You know, what used to take us maybe, 18 to 24 months is now 6 to 9 months. It's exciting what the city's doing, and we're really appreciative of it.
And the 49ers head to Florida this weekend in a battle of first-place teams. You can watch it on KPIX and streaming on Paramount+. The red and gold taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kickoff at 1:25.
I know it was a beautiful start to the week with daytime highs a little bit above average, yeah, but clear skies. That was the best part because we were able to see the supermoon. Well, now that supermoon's going to be a little bit more fogged in, or at least cloudier skies are going to make it harder to look up and see it, because that's what we're gearing up for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all of the days for the rest of this week. We see either cloudy conditions at times or even some light drizzle at times too. This isn't going to amount to much though. In total, we can see closer to around 1/100 of an inch of rain in places like San Rafael, stretched all the way down into San Francisco. We'll get another light little coating of showers all the way up into the North Bay Friday morning. But other than that, like I said, from Santa Rosa all the way down into places like Pacifica, in total, we'll see close to around 1/100 of an inch of rain. Take a look behind me real fast as we head into this weekend's forecast. We will see cloudy skies in our inland spots Friday and Saturday, clearing up with a little bit more sunshine into Sunday before we see our next batch of drizzle right around the corner into Monday and Tuesday of next week. We're monitoring this closely. It's, like I said, not a big washout by any means. Closer to around 1/100 of an inch of rain will accumulate, but it is still a drizzly setup as we head into Thursday and Friday. So we're monitoring that closely here in the Weather Center. For now, I'm going to send it back over to you.
The city of San Jose is enjoying a bit of a restaurant boom. More than 860 new restaurants have opened in the city over the past 2 years. And San Jose just shattered a record for restaurant sales tax receipts in 2025, signaling a big comeback for the local dining scene. And as Len Ramirez found, a new restaurant opening in South San Jose is at the center of that success story.
not just our city, but the world. So thank you for that.
At this brand new chicken franchise, it's not just the tenders that are hot. The restaurant is part of a local food scene that is sizzling.
It's hot chicken!
Meet Sam Wong, a San Jose native, Gunderson High School grad, and now co-owner of this new Dave's Hot Chicken franchise on Cottle Road, not far from his old neighborhood in South San Jose. His path to restaurant ownership began with his first fast food job.
I started working for Jack in the Box many years ago when I was 16 in high school, because my parents said, you're 16, go get a job.
By 18, he was the store's general manager. Now Wong, who was born in Indonesia, is part owner of 17 Dave's Hot Chicken franchises and more than 100 Carl's Jr.'s.
If anybody like me, an immigrant that came here with nothing, can do this, anybody could do it.
The restaurant is one of a record 865 to open in town over the last 2 years, and sales tax receipts for food businesses just hit an all-time high for San Jose, 21% above the 2019 pre-COVID level. The city has also started 2 new business improvement districts and streamlined permitting processes at City Hall. Sam's business partner says the changes are huge.
You know, what used to take us maybe, 18 to 24 months is now 6 to 9 months. And that's a critical piece. I mean, not only does it unlock jobs faster, but it unlocks capital. It helps us grow faster. And you don't have downtime paying, dead rent. So it's exciting what the city's doing, and we're really appreciative of it.
But city leaders say it's not just about the policies, it's about the people.
Our people have this spirit that is unbreakable, whether you are an entrepreneur or you're working in the community. Our people are what make us great, what make us diverse, and that is what is keeping our community alive and thriving.
And customers are taking notice, even driving in from out of town.
I come from Gilroy, so this is the closest one, so I don't have to drive as far anymore.
It's our chicken that we built.
And for locals who made good like Sam, it's more than just a meal. It's what happens when you're in the right spot to dream big.
In San Jose, more than 60% of businesses are ethnic or minority owned, and most are small with 10 or fewer employees. Coming up in our next half hour here on CBS News Bay Area. From sweeping the floors to soaring the skies, we're going to meet the local jet team helping young people across the Bay Area earn their wings.
Whatever it took to get there is what I was going to do it.
You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Thanks for being with us this Wednesday. I'm Ann Makovic, and here is a look at some of our news headlines. We have just learned that Oakland's police chief is stepping down. The city of Oakland says Chief Floyd Mitchell has turned in his resignation. His last day will be December 5th. Chief Mitchell took over the role back in March of last year after being appointed by former Mayor Sheng Tao. So he is stepping down after less than 2 years on the job. He did not give a reason. The city says the search is on for an interim chief. An arrest has been made in connection with the deadly Palisades fire in Los Angeles. The Justice Department says 29-year-old Jonathan Rindernechty from Florida maliciously ignited the fire on New Year's Day. The Palisades fire killed a dozen people and destroyed thousands of buildings. Officials did not state an alleged motive. And we're seeing our first signs of Fleet Week in San Francisco. Despite the government shutdown, our chopper flew over the 250-foot Colombian Navy ship Ark Gloria this morning. You can see her making her way under the Golden Gate Bridge, but Fleet Week organizers have confirmed that U.S. Navy ship sailors and Marines will not be participating this weekend. All right, halfway through the work week, let's check in on our first alert forecast with meteorologist Jessica Birch.
All right, let's take a quick look outside as we head into this afternoon. Daytime highs are nice and mild compared to where we were at yesterday, talking about 90s off in the East Bay and upper 70s all the way down into places like Monterey and Santa Cruz. This is a lot more mild. 60s and 70s down there this afternoon. We're talking about 70s over in Antioch. Let's zoom all the way into the East Bay. We're talking about 60s and 70s from the East Bay stretched up into wine country region this afternoon. Looking pretty nice. And as we zoom out and look a little bit higher, I'll show you the next 24 hours. We have a chance of drizzle in the forecast pushing in from offshore in places like Half Moon Bay, all the way over into San Francisco for that matter. This won't accumulate to much, if anything, closer to around 1/100 of an inch of rain. But that exact same system is the reason why we're also dealing with daytime highs just a little bit cooler too. It's a great relief. This is actually where we should be for this time of year, or at least closer, I should say, in places like San Francisco and Oakland, just a degree below average. Today, you head all the way up into the North Bay. Santa Rosa today, 9 degrees below average, which is such a contrast compared to last week. Or not last week, just yesterday when we were talking about daytime highs about 9 degrees above average. So such a difference already as the system continues to push its way in. It'll bring in cloudier skies, a chance of drizzle in the forecast for us today and tomorrow. Here we go with that timeline. Thursday morning, just getting that light coastal drizzle starting to dissipate as it makes its way inland, and then we'll clear up as we head into this weekend's forecast. In total, from now until then, we could see about 1/100 of an inch of rain. And you take a look at the next 7 days, just real quick, we're talking about 70s each day in our inland spots with partly cloudy skies until Saturday heading into Sunday. We'll hold on tight to 60s along the coast. Keep you updated on that here in the Weather Center.
A statue of Father Junipero Serra has stood overlooking Interstate 280 in Hillsborough for 5 decades, but now it's gone. Caltrans quietly removed that statue recently, but as Brad Hamilton shows us, that decision is reigniting a debate over the 18th century missionary's legacy.
Patricia Gonzalez knows this rest stop better than anyone.
I remember as a little girl going to Blackberry Farm and my parents driving, and every time we passed a statue, I knew, okay, we're almost there.
For the past 3 years, she's watched travelers pull off Interstate 280, some for a break, others for a photo with a figure who stood guard above them.
The last person that came was from Ireland. They're over here from Ireland. They brought some relatives and to see the statue, and it was gone.
Built in 1975, the 26-foot statue of Father Junipero Serra had become part of the landscape, a landmark for commuters, families, and travelers from around the world. But this summer, the view changed overnight.
So here, this is where it was once. I was told maybe a couple of weeks before it was going to go down, and I was told that they're going to close the rest stop down. So that's all we knew. They were going to close the rest stop for a week and take the statue down.
Patricia says that crews from Caltrans arrived in August with little notice. When the rest area reopened, the statue was gone. Caltrans confirmed the removal, saying the monument no longer met requirements under the state's Transportation Art Program, and that the structure was too fragile to move safely. On its website, Caltrans says that this art program installs artwork that represents communities' unique aesthetic, environmental, scenic, historical, and cultural values. Serra, an 18th century Spanish missionary, helped found the first of 9 of California's 21 missions, but he has a complicated legacy. To his supporters, he's a symbol of faith and heritage. To his critics, he represents a painful era of colonization and the suppression of indigenous people. Greg Castro, a cultural leader with the Association of the Ohlone Tribes, has fought for years to see the statue come down.
One of the responses when these things are proposed is that we're going to erase history. And my response to it is the statue erases history, ignoring a large part of consequences and aftermath of the work that he did.
And then there was reaction from San Francisco's Archbishop Salvatore Cordileone, who said he was not told about the statue's removal before it happened, and he sent us a statement saying, quote, "No one has fought for St. Serra because apparently officials from Caltrans and the Transportation Art Program didn't consult with anyone who would give them a different opinion from them. Would we expect this treatment if it happened to be associated with another religious organization? I think not." Father Serra was canonized as a saint by Pope Francis in 2015. And his statues have become targets of protests in the past, including in 2020, when one in San Rafael was vandalized with red paint, and in San Francisco's Golden Gate Park, where it was toppled by dozens of protesters. But today, the hillside in Hillsborough, where Serra's statue once stood, is empty. Just a patch of earth above the rest stop Patricia still runs.
People are going to miss it. People still come look for it every day, and that's sad.
And while the debate over Serra's legacy may continue for years, for Patricia, it's simpler. It's about a piece of local history that's now just a memory on the drive home. Again, Caltrans did confirm that this statue was removed in the month of August, and there are no plans to replace it.
Well, Father Serra established the first 9 out of 21 missions across California in the 18th century. San Francisco-based Salesforce says it will not engage, negotiate with, or pay any extortion demands after cyber criminals claimed to have stolen almost $1 billion of the firm's files. The hacker group that claims responsibility is connected to a string of ransomware attacks. In a statement to CBS News, Salesforce says it is aware of recent extortion attempts, but there is no indication the platform has been compromised. Another day, another local Nobel Prize winner, UC Berkeley's Omar Yaghi, won the Nobel Prize in chemistry. He and two other honorees developed materials that act like molecular sponges, pulling water from desert air to capture carbon and store dangerous gases. This morning, he reflected on his journey.
I am really a product of the public school system in the U.S.
He shares the Nobel Prize with Sumusu Kitagawa of Kyoto University and Richard Robson of the University of Melbourne. Police in Morgan Hill issuing a warning about mountain lions after one was spotted in the Jackson Oaks neighborhood. A neighbor captured the big cat on video. No one was hurt, but animal control is sharing safety tips like don't hike alone, secure pets and livestock in the area, and if you see a mountain lion, do not run. Stand tall, make noise, and back away slowly. Well, the show must go on for Fleet Week despite the government shutdown, and we're looking ahead to some of the acts we will see. One of them is known for its thrilling stunts and trails of red, white, and blue smoke. But as Kara St. Cyr shows us, this civilian acrobatic team also does some great work on the ground.
Welcome to the 12th annual Patriots Jet Team Gala.
Many know the Patriots Jet Team is a group of dynamic pilots soaring through Fleet Week. But few are lucky enough to call them mentors. Quentin is the exception.
That was my first flight with Zippy.
Quentin is part of the Patriots Jet Team Foundation, an organization that teaches high schoolers about the flight industry in hopes that they too will fly.
This is kind of how I started. And at first it was like, okay, well, sweep some floors. So I started sweeping floors. Then it turned into, okay, well, we got to clean the airplanes.
Quentin would go from sweeping planes to flying them and eventually training future pilots.
There's a lot of different intricacies in aviation, different jobs and paths that you can have.
With the help of Patriots mentors like Corey.
And they don't necessarily have to be pilots. A lot of them could be mechanics or aerospace engineers. There's a lot of different career paths in aviation, not necessarily just flying airplanes.
Students learn things like aerodynamics and spaceflight navigation, but Corey says these classes aren't just for fun. There's a real need.
There's definitely a shortage of kids that are pursuing those types of careers.
Boeing predicts that 2.4 million pilots, technicians, and cabin crew will be needed over the next 20 years, but recruitment for the industry is low.
Whatever it took to get there is what I was going to do it.
Quentin has completed several hours of flight training.
I'm applying to airlines and I'm trying to get a job with regional airlines such as SkyWest or Endeavor.
A dream almost fulfilled.
Volunteers run the foundation, which offers its programs for free. They work with about 5,000 students every year from schools across the Bay Area and the Central Valley. But the Patriots don't just teach young people the ropes. The team also trained Tom Cruise and the rest of the cast of Top Gun Maverick how to act under serious pressure. We're talking G-forces. You pull a lot of them in the F-18s you see in the movie. So Tom Cruise and the rest of the cast had to learn how to act while being smashed into their seats. That's where the Patriots swooped in with their L-39s.
The Patriots went and trained all the actors. They practiced doing their lines. They practiced all the maneuvers they were going to fly in the F-18. So by the time that they got in that seat of the F-18, they were ready to act.
The Patriots were up there with them through the filming as well. A couple of their specialized jet shots, many of the aerial sequences that you see in the movie. You can see them in action over the Bay this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Coming up next here on CBS News Bay Area, more and more visitors are taking a trip to wine country without indulging in the region's signature product. The growing number of sober travel options in Sonoma County.
Well, we had some hot weather to kick off the week's forecast, but now we're starting to cool down quick as we head into this weekend. Daytime highs holding on tight to 70s today, tomorrow lasting into this weekend's forecast with partly cloudy skies and some light showers actually sweeping in from offshore as we head into Thursday and Friday. That'll clear up fast as we head into this weekend, which is great news for Fleet Week right around the corner. Now you make your way over into the Bay closer to San Francisco and Oakland. This is what it's going to look like for us. We're dealing with daytime highs today in the 70s still. We'll cool down to the 60s around the corner, back to 70s by this weekend.
It is Sober October for some Americans who are choosing not to drink this month. Gen Z leading the movement of drinking less, and that's shaping travel destinations around the world, catering to people who want to enjoy bars and restaurants without alcohol. I asked reporter Wendy Gillette about this growing trend.
Yes, Ann, I'm at Baha Mar in Nassau, where there are 3 hotels and 42 bars and restaurants, including here, Marcus at Baha Mar Fish and Chop House. And there are lots of non-alcoholic drinks on the menu, including these mocktails. This is Rise, made with blackberries, mango, and lychee. And this selection is just one example of how more restaurants and hotels around the world are catering to sober travelers.
Deepa Lakshman travels to far-flung destinations like Norway, India, and Belize for her job as director of social media at Lonely Planet. She also does it sober, choosing to stop drinking just over 3 years ago.
Cutting out alcohol has done more for my mental health than 5 years of therapy.
She sees firsthand a thirst for more non-alcoholic options around the world.
I think the industry is only growing.
In Niagara-on-the-Lake in Ontario, Canada, there's no shortage of spots to drink. Ice wine in an igloo at Palisades or sips in the vineyards at Chateau des Charmes and Bellaterra. But at Vineland Estates Winery, non-alcoholic wines from Germany make up about 10% of sales.
People are looking at their health, they're thinking about drinking less, but they don't want to give up wine altogether.
A 200-plant garden at the nearby restaurant Pearl Morissette provides plenty of options for a non-alcoholic pairing of the tasting menu. There are mocktails on the menu inside 124 on Queen Hotel and Spa, where we stayed for a special rate. And in neighboring Niagara Falls, restaurants overlooking the thundering Horseshoe Falls like Table Rock House and Prime Steakhouse also offer several non-alcoholic cocktails. In Healdsburg, California, there's even a mocktail trail, pairing with tapas at the restaurant Brava's and as complex as the Real Deal at Little Saint and Lo and Behold Bar and Kitchen.
There's a whole community of people that don't imbibe that should get to enjoy that experience too.
At McRosty Winery, teas are an option to team with caviar instead of vino. And in town, LaRouche serves up tastings of honey from 12 countries.
The trend is also found in the U.S. cities synonymous with beer, Milwaukee. Here at Lakefront Brewery, they're serving up several types of non-alcoholic craft beers.
There was an interest from a lot of people to have another alternative to alcohol and one that tastes just as good.
At Indeed Brewing, there's a non-alcoholic lager on tap and THC seltzers. An Agency cocktail bar has a non-alcoholic version of every drink on the menu, so all can join the party.
A recent Gallup survey found 54% of Americans say they drink alcohol. That is a record low in 90 years of polling. Ann?
And I've heard of dry January, but how did the Sober October start?
It started as a fundraiser for cancer in the UK, but has since broadened. Of course, the idea is to have no alcohol at all during the month to see how your health and wellness improve. Ann?
All right, Wendy Gillette joining us from the Bahamas. Thanks. This Hispanic Heritage Month, we are spotlighting a San Francisco group that celebrates culture and supports small businesses that's now facing a major setback. Mission Loteria lost its city funding after budget cuts, putting events like Taco Week and its Shop Local campaign at risk. Now the group's future depends on community support through a new fundraiser as it rallies to preserve the group's impact in the neighborhood.
By October 15th, we'll be able to decide whether or not we can continue to move forward with the planning. We've shown up for the community continues to show up for us, and so we're going to keep that relationship going.
You can catch the full story tonight at 5 on our evening edition. And be sure to check out our 30-minute special, Una Familia, airing on October 16th at 7:30. It'll be hosted by Argiana Franco and Len Ramirez. Coming up here on CBS News Bay Area, a new AI program raising concerns in Hollywood, how it's making videos that are looking a little too real.
You know that feeling when you pull into town and you feel like you're home?
I know it was a beautiful start to the week with daytime highs. A little bit above average, yeah, but clear skies. That was the best part because we were able to see the supermoon. Well, now that supermoon's going to be a little bit more fogged in, or at least cloudier skies are going to make it harder to look up and see it, because that's what we're gearing up for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all of the days for the rest of this week. We see either cloudy conditions at times or even some light drizzle at times too. This isn't going to amount to much though. In total, we can see closer to around 1/100 of an inch of rain in places like San Rafael, stretched all the way down into San Francisco. We'll get another light little coating of showers all the way up into the North Bay Friday morning. But other than that, like I said, from Santa Rosa all the way down into places like Pacifica, in total, we'll see close to around 1/100 of an inch of rain. Take a look behind me real fast as we head into this weekend's forecast. We will see cloudy skies in our inland spots Friday and Saturday, clearing up with a little bit more sunshine into Sunday before we see our next batch of drizzle right around the corner into Monday and Tuesday of next week. We're monitoring this closely. It's, like I said, not a big washout by any means. Closer to around 1/100 of an inch of rain will accumulate, but it is still a drizzly setup as we head into Thursday and Friday. So we're monitoring that closely here in the Weather Center. For now, I'm going to send it back over to you.
Artificial intelligence taking another step forward. OpenAI's new app, Sora 2, is only 1 week old, and it's already taken the internet by storm. The app allows users to generate and share AI-generated videos. And Jolene Kent gave it a try and shows us just how realistic it can look.
This looks just like your typical social media feed. But in reality, these are all AI-generated videos on Sora, OpenAI's newest edition of its social media platform. We took the app for a spin.
Turn your head to the left.
The first thing Sora did was scan my face and voice. Then we typed in what we wanted.
Make a video of me showing my face riding a dragon into the sunset.
A few minutes later,
as breaking news unfolds below. That's really creepy. It put wind in my hair. I'm on this dragon. It sounds like me.
Good evening. Tonight we're looking at how
Next, we asked Sora to create a video of me delivering a fake news broadcast.
If you were just scrolling as one does, you would definitely think that was real me. And it was made in 5 minutes.
We were even able to create a sit-down interview with OpenAI CEO Sam Altman.
People worry that models trained on copyrighted works might infringe on those rights. How do you think about that?
It's a really important question.
We added the kittens and puppies so no one would ever think it was actually real. On Monday, the Motion Picture Association criticized the new technology, urging OpenAI to take immediate and decisive action, saying that the videos infringe our members' films, shows, and characters. Charlie Fink is a consumer tech columnist focused on AI at Forbes.
What does this mean for real humans in Hollywood?
Over time, it's not good because fewer of them will be required. But that said, people crave people. So I think celebrities and entertainers are going to be fine.
For now, Sora 2 is by invitation only, and the real-life CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, did say some changes are on the way. He said that they are going to give rights holders more granular control over generation of characters.
An OpenAI spokesperson told CBS News the company will eventually make access to Sora widely available, but did not specify a time frame. Thanks for streaming CBS News Bay Area. I'm Ann Makovic. We're going to be right back with your first alert forecast and a look at your top stories.